Welcome to Top 30. I'm Kristen Smith.
And I'm Richard Bacon, and here are your top 30 stories in 30 minutes.
You wake up and you have a stuffy nose, a cough, and generally feel pretty miserable. But the next question is, do you have the common cold or the flu? Knowing the difference is critical to you and your family's health, especially right now. According to the CDC, there have already been 37 child deaths this flu season alone. The CDC explains, in general, the flu is worse than the common cold, and symptoms are more common and intense. According to the Mayo Clinic, some common cold symptoms are a runny or stuffy nose, cough, sore throat, congestion, sneezing, minor headaches and body aches, and a low-grade fever. Usually you can recuperate from the common cold within 10 days. The key difference between cold and flu symptoms is a fever that's above 100 degrees, which generally indicates the flu, although not everyone who has the flu also gets a fever. Some other common flu symptoms are severe body aches, nausea, chills, and fatigue. Vomiting and diarrhea can also be symptoms, but they mostly occur in children. And of course, if you're concerned you have the flu, you should always talk to your doctor. If what you crave is freshness out of your McDonald's, we've got the tip for you. According to Reader's Digest, Cameron Adnan, a former McDonald's employee, says asking for a receipt prompts employees to serve you the freshest meal as fast as possible. Adnan explains that mystery shoppers, or gap busters, people paid to rate their shopping experience, have to present a receipt to be reimbursed. He also adds that these shoppers typically visit the restaurant from 12 to 2 p.m. and 5 to 7 p.m. So asking for a receipt at these times signals employees to give the shopper a perfect experience. This simple tip might make fast food just a little bit faster.
An infamous football league that featured flashy cheerleaders, pre-game antics, and a player known as He Hate Me is making a comeback.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the XFL!
That was WWE CEO Vince McMahon before the first XFL game in 2001. The league had fewer rules and promoted a rougher game. Ratings for the first week were much higher than expected, but the poor quality of play and connections to professional wrestling caused the viewership to plummet, and the league folded after just 1 year. McMahon just announced he's bringing the XFL back with major changes. He said there won't be gimmicks and the focus will be the play on the field, and the goal is to make each game 2 hours and a customizable viewing experience for fans. So far, cities for teams, TV contracts, or even rules have not been announced, but McMahon wants to play the first game in 2020.
Kirsten Perry was named 2018 School Counselor of the Year, and then this happened.
Hello, this is Kirsten.
Hi, Kirsten. This is Michelle Obama. How are you?
Oh my God! Hello!
And if that call wasn't exciting enough, Michelle Obama will introduce Kirsten at a gala in Washington, D.C. next month. So Vanity Fair released their annual Hollywood issue, and here's the cover. Take a closer look at Reese Witherspoon. Fans pointed out a Photoshop error where it looks like Reese has an extra leg. The actress laughed it off, tweeting, "Well, I guess everyone knows now I have 3 legs." But Reese isn't alone. A photo in the spread clearly shows Oprah with 3 hands. Oprah also made fun of the blunder, responding to Reese, tweeting, "I accept your 3rd leg, as I know you accept my 3rd hand." And KFC unveiled the new face of Colonel Sanders in their latest ad, and she looks awesome. That's Reba McEntire. It's the first time the famous fried chicken chain has used a woman to play the famous Colonel, and I think she rocked it.
Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend and mine, Nicole Pedlides. Nicole, I am hearing about big changes to MoviePass.
That's right, Richard. MoviePass will no longer cover ticket purchases at certain AMC theaters in big markets such as Los Angeles and New York City. The reason? It appears MoviePass wants a cut of AMC ticket sales and concessions revenue. The movie giant has said it has no intention of sharing profits with the ticket agency. If you were looking to get your hands on a Tesla, you may have to wait a bit longer. That's because some company employees are saying that the Model 3 delays persist due to problems at its Gigafactory battery plant. Tesla denies these production issues. Another day, another iOS update. This includes 4 new Animoji characters, insight into your phone's battery health, and advanced mobile location, which automatically sends a user's location to emergency services when someone calls.
So can anyone, Nicole, anywhere start using this?
Not quite. AML isn't supported in the United States, but it's available to iOS users in some parts of Europe. By contrast, all Android phones running Gingerbread OS and higher support this feature.
Nicole, I don't know what any of those words mean, but they sound fascinating. Kristen, I hear that you are talking about some big-name actresses fighting the gender pay gap.
Yeah, that's right, Richard. Actress Jessica Chastain has long been a vocal advocate for equal pay in Hollywood. But it took a frank conversation with her friend, actress Octavia Spencer, to realize the wage gap is even bigger for women of color. Spencer recounted that conversation during a panel at Sundance Film Festival. The two women were talking about teaming up for a buddy comedy, and when the issue of pay inevitably came up, Chastain made her friend a promise.
I love that woman because she's walking the walk and she's actually talking the talk. She said, Octavia, we're gonna get you paid.
The women negotiated their salaries as a package deal, and after a bidding war, both parties were overjoyed with the results.
And fast forward to last week, we're making 5 times what we asked for.
It just goes to show when women listen to each other and support one another, everyone wins.
Against all odds, airlines are making flying worse. The LA Times reports that American Airlines and some other carriers are using new 737 MAX planes with bathrooms. So small, they're nearly unusable. The lavatory is 24.5 inches wide, that is 10 inches narrower than the bathroom on the older 737s. And these sinks are so small, most passengers can only wash one hand at a time. When they do, they splash water onto themselves. A spokesman for American said the sink issue will be addressed by reducing water pressure. Flight attendants also complain that when the bathroom doors are open, they become trapped in the galley. There is a changing table. However, one travel writer predicted that cramped conditions will lead to parents changing babies' diapers in coach. The reason for the small bathrooms is money. Their size allows manufacturer Boeing to fit an additional 12 seats on the plane. 12 seats, which will create even more demand for the unpleasant tiny bathroom with low water pressure.
The hook of the latest pop song, You Can't Get Out of Your Head, is commonly known as an earworm song, but the technical term is involuntary musical imagery. A new study in the journal Psychology of Music says more than 90% of adults complain of being plagued by earworms on a weekly, if not daily, basis. Kelly Jakubowski, a music researcher, says earworm songs tend to be faster in tempo or more upbeat and make use of more predictable melodic contours. Involuntary musical imagery can attack ears via slogans, sayings, movie clips, and other sing-songy phrases like jingles, in addition to popular music. Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito. Studies have shown that these melodic contours actually get stuck in the heads of people with a predisposition to neurotic or obsessive-compulsive traits. However, an easy way to get a song out of your head is by making your mouth do something else, like chewing gum, eating food, or maybe having a conversation. Or you can just listen to the song on loop to blast that earworm out of your brain. Your call.
Time now for Royal Watch with The Sun. Let's check in with Arthur Edwards, The Sun's royal photographer for 40 years. He is in London. Arthur, welcome back.
Thank you, Richard. Nice to be back.
You look excellent. Now, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's upcoming wedding is forcing another royal couple to delay their own wedding. What's happening?
Princess Eugenie, the youngest daughter of the Duke of York, is marrying a long-term boyfriend, Jack Brooksbank. No wedding's been announced, but I've heard a whisper it's October. And the reason they're leaving it so late is because there's a huge wedding in May at the same church with Harry and Meghan. But I'm told Harry and Meghan are going on a big overseas tour in the autumn, and they want to be back for Eugenie's wedding. She's a wonderful young lady.
She is. I've spent quite a lot of time with Eugenie. She is nothing but fun. Prince William is speaking out against the dangers of social media.
Yeah, Twitter and Facebook. He's saying that it's dividing the nation and we're becoming less friendly to each other. With these trolls spitting out all this vitriol, it's kind of dividing the nation, not uniting it. And I've got about nearly 60,000 followers, and I don't get any abuse, thank God, none.
So let's get you some new followers across the United States of America. It's at Arthur J. Edwards, correct?
That's it, Richard, you got it.
Arthur, thank you. The US economy grew last year, but slowed down at the end of 2017. A new report from the Commerce Department says America's gross domestic product grew 2.6% in the last quarter of 2017. That's down over 3% the quarter before. US consumer confidence is at its highest level since 2000. Unemployment is down to 4.1%. America added about 2 million jobs last year. For the whole year, GDP grew 2.3%. That's an increase from 2016, but below the target of 3% President Trump has set for his first term. Trump took credit for the economy's growth at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. He told the crowd after years of stagnation, the United States is once again experiencing strong economic growth. He also repeated a campaign promise to put America first, specifically by setting tougher terms for international trade. Experts expect the economy to grow this year, partly because of tax cuts. In 2019, it's projected to decline.
In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 29 Philadelphia, Temple University's basketball team just signed a young hopeful. Though 6-year-old Mason Wyckoff has common variable immune deficiency, which basically means he can get sick easily, the Temple Owls see a 4'2" powerhouse.
Who has a battle, and he doesn't fear it. He faces it with great courage, and he's a role model for us.
Thanks to the nonprofit Team Impact, which pairs kids with chronic illnesses to college sports teams, Mason has his teammates to cheer him on. Our next story from Fox 13 Tampa Bay. 82-year-old Hank Barless watches over the restaurant that's been in his family for 91 years. The Coney Island Grill opened in 1926, serving burgers and hot dogs to the neighborhood. Now it's the oldest family-owned restaurant in St. Petersburg, Florida. Regular John Reynolds has been coming to Coney Island Grill for more than 60 years. It seems the restaurant is almost as well known for the memories as its food. Our final story from Fox 4 Dallas. When Janice Holmes lost a daughter to leukemia, she felt the best way to recover was to help others. So just days after her terrible loss, she began volunteering at Children's Health Dallas. And this February 9th will mark 50 years of service to the hospital. She'll celebrate the milestone with her family by her side, as she's inspired her husband, daughter-in-law, and grandson to volunteer as well.
AMC is accused of cutting corners in safety when it comes to the death of a stuntman on the set of their hit show The Walking Dead. John Bernicker died on July the 12th when he plummeted 22 feet head first onto the concrete during what should have been a routine stunt. Now his mother, Susan, is filing a lawsuit against the network and several of the individuals involved. In the lawsuit, she cites that there was no ambulance on the scene and contends they failed to use adequate cushioning beneath the balcony where the fall occurred. The lawsuit also names Walking Dead star Austin Emilio, who shared the scene with Bernicker, alleging he actually pushed her son off the balcony when he was only supposed to pretend to. She further claims producers are at fault for letting Emilio do the scene in the first place when it should have been another stunt performer. A statement from AMC says, "We take the safety of our employees on all of our sets extremely seriously and meet or exceed industry safety standards." Recreational marijuana will become legal in Canada this summer, and landlords in Ontario have something to say about it. Post-legalization laws will allow landlords to prohibit smoking weed in new rental lease agreements, but landlords want to be able to change tenants' existing lease agreements to state that they cannot consume the drug in their properties. Marijuana users argue it would unfairly leave them with way less options for rental housing. As it stands, consumption of recreational weed use will already be banned in public spaces and the workplace and confined to a private residence. Landlords estimate it costs between $5,000 and $6,000 to get the stench of marijuana out of apartment walls and floors.
When Ashley Chestnut was diagnosed with cancer, she was determined to fight the disease, but she wasn't ready to stop breastfeeding her 5-month-old son. When doctors at Nebraska Medical Center told her the news, she was devastated. But one nurse reached out to help. Nurse Jacqueline Kenny was overproducing breast milk for her daughter, who just happens to be the same age as Ashley's son. So Jacqueline decided to give Ashley 1,000 ounces of breast milk. That's nearly 8 gallons. Jacqueline told People magazine, "I stopped in her room and asked if she would be interested in the milk, and she immediately broke into tears, stating that I absolutely made her day after getting the news she could no longer breastfeed." And Ashley said the gift has helped give her peace of mind as she fights the battle of her life. According to multiple studies, when compared to dental floss, water flossers are 51% more effective at reducing gingivitis and 29% more effective at removing plaque. Which is why we've got today's top 30 deal, Pure Daily Care Aqua Flosser System at a special 79% discount. Aqua Flosser has been clinically proven to be up to 5 times more effective than traditional flossing, while also being gentler on gums and teeth. The Aqua Flosser's powerful and rechargeable lithium-ion battery produces water jets directed to dislodge food and plaque, perfect for those hard-to-reach places. And not only that, each kit includes the added bonus of a professional-grade stainless steel toolkit to help you keep tartar, calculus, and plaque buildup at bay. The Pure Daily Care Aqua Flosser System retails for as much as $200, but today you can buy it for just $42. That's about a 79% discount, and you can get this right now at top30deals.com while they last.
A trucking shortage could lead to higher prices. NPR reports that over 70% of consumable goods in the US are shipped on trucks. In order to meet the current demand, the industry would need to add 900,000 drivers. In addition to the driver shortage, the cost of diesel has gone up. Severe winter weather, like the bomb cyclone, delays shipments, and a new federal rule requires drivers to track their hours. It's supposed to make roads safer by reducing fatigue, but it has made some trips longer. It puts pressure on farmers. One agricultural expert said producers cannot absorb any more costs. That could mean higher prices for consumers, starting at the grocery store. Produce has to be shipped from farms to processing centers and then again to stores. The high cost of shipping doesn't just affect food, it impacts supplies that are shipped, like fertilizer. Some farmers are hoping the new safety law will be revised to help bring down the cost of trucking. Nat Geo's series Chain of Command gives unprecedented access to our military as they wage a worldwide battle against ISIS. In the latest episode, viewers get an up-close look at just how precisely US and Iraqi forces pursue the enemy. Here's a preview in this week's Nat Geo Minute.
Reports are coming from the Iraqi army, a building that's been used as a historic sniper location. Today they had one soldier who was shot in the head. So from our location, we can see the top 3 floors of the building, but we can't see what's behind or inside the compound. So this is my concern, Sadie. That 4-story building that you have the sniper from, Sadie, what I'd like to do, and I'm working through the process right now, to basically level that structure as it has such it's a fighting position for me now. Okay.
And you can watch Chain of Command every Monday on Nat Geo at 9, 8 Central. New research could completely change how doctors treat patients who suffer strokes. About 750,000 Americans have strokes every year. In 2016, they were the 5th leading cause of death, claiming over 142,000 lives. Doctors have long believed that they have just 6 hours to perform surgery to save brain tissue threatened by lack of blood flow. But new imaging technology developed by Stanford reveals they could have as long as 16 hours, or in some cases a full day. The software looks at CT or MRI scans and gives doctors a better view of brain tissue that can be saved. Conventional surgery can then remove the blood clot. One doctor involved in the study said these striking results will have an immediate impact and save people from lifelong disability or death. I really cannot overstate the size of this effect. The findings of the research were so dramatic, the study was cut short so the research could be shared with doctors.
Sometimes it pays big to forget. Rapper 50 Cent agreed to accept Bitcoin for the purchase of his 2014 album Animal Ambition, but never cashed out. He acquired about 700 Bitcoin from sales, which at the time was valued around $420,000. But with the boom in cryptocurrency and rapid rise in value, 50 Cent's Bitcoin album sales are now worth around $7.7 million.
This is the hardest record out.
Not bad for a kid from Southside. I'm so proud of me, 50 said on Instagram of his new financial windfall. And he could use it, apparently. In 2015, 50 Cent filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and paid off the $22 million debt last year. The only way I can relate to this is when I find a $20 bill in the laundry. Richard, what's coming up on our next show?
Kristen, we're talking about daylight savings time. One state hates changing clocks so much they're trying to ban it for good. And there's a way to find out if your credit score is where it should be based on your age. And these pigs are more than pets. They're providing an important service in hospitals. It's all coming up on the next Top 30.